right.
Turn it down.
Nothing in life is perfect.
Turn it all the way down. Don't talk to me.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Losers Lounge. Presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Did we at least bet well tonight?
I didn't.
We bet well.
We bet well?
We bet okay.
We bet okay?
A little bit better than okay.
I'll have to take a look. Nuggets fall in OT in what was an exciting last 10 minutes or so in this game. Really, 7 minutes? Unbelievable. We're going to break all of that down for you, give our takes and what we learned from this one about the Denver Nuggets. To help me do it, I got the fellas. Brennan Vogt.
Oh, that would have been a dope comeback. Alas. Plenty to talk about, though. It's important to remember we do our jobs after wins and losses.
We do our jobs after wins and losses. Over here, I blame the flannel. It's D-line.
I agree with you. Sorry.
It's
Sorry,
okay.
everybody.
Like Jokic, I'll forgive you. Then over there, Superstar Dev.
They already got it, Vote.
This one had the makings to be a very, very fun night. That would have been a way that you finish off another team season, and it just came up short.
So I found this out just now, but apparently not only did the Nuggets not get the sweep against the Timberwolves, but this is the first time those Wolves in the 7-game series have not been swept. Denver is actually having the worst playoff performance. You go ahead and cross.
It was a real movable force meets the
Denver failed to move a movable force sadly tonight. Let's go a fast breakdown real quick so we can remember all the misery of this game. KCP got hurt on the very first play of the game on a no call, and I actually think that changed the complexion of the game because it was a really bad missed call. He gets hurt. Nuggets call a timeout immediately, and after that, officials called everything. It was the tightest called game ever at the whole first half. It was just so ridiculous. Jokic gets 2, Karl Anthony Towns gets 2, Kyle Anderson gets 2. It's just like, all right, we're doing this thing again. But Malone kept Jokic in. I think it was the right call. The Nuggets starter still got outscored, and then the bench stormed back. The bench had a very good night once again. Wolves lead 23-22 after the first quarter. The bench defense to start that second quarter, that was some of the best basketball we've seen from the Nuggets in this playoffs. They just guarded extremely well, got out on the break, but they did foul. Wolves in the bonus with 8+ minutes to go. Murray looked absolutely gassed in large portions of this game. It's one of my top concerns, I would say. Not that I'm super concerned about anything at the moment with the Nuggets. I think it's pretty comfortable. But if you started to list the items, Murray just has been consistently tired, I feel. And the Wolves pulled ahead. Back and forth for most of the quarter. Jokic picked up a third on a charge on Karl Anthony Towns. I thought it was a good call. Jokic lowered the shoulder. And then 3 on Green. So guess who comes into the game? DeAndre Jordan. And played great.
Yep.
Unbelievable. DeAndre Jordan comes into the playoffs and plays well. Nuggets up 52-48. You get into the third quarter. Back-to-back three-pointers from Jokic builds a 9-point lead. Jokic came out gangbusters in that third quarter. They go up 9, and you think, here it is. Put them away. And I'm not kidding you guys. Denver proceeded to play their worst 15 minutes of basketball of the postseason immediately after that. Blow it immediately. Tied at 66. Anthony Edwards started taking over. And the Wolves, after being down 9 halfway through the third quarter, build a 6-point lead, 80-74. No urgency from Bruce and Jamal in the fourth quarter. I think they're just too tired, man. It's the one casualty, I think, of having this last month on is the Nuggets lost a little bit of conditioning. Just no urgency. Jokic had to come back in the fourth quarter with 9.5 minutes left, and the Nuggets fell behind by 12. They had a quick 6-0 run. You think, okay, here it goes. Then they fell back exactly every time they'd get a little momentum, they'd fall right back. Little momentum, fall right back. So they're back to 12. But then this is where it felt like it was over. I think you declared it over even on the live show.
I did.
And then all of a sudden you get Jokic for 3. Michael Porter Jr. for 3, his first 3 of the game. Michael Porter Jr. for 3 again.
Yep.
And then Jokic hits a fadeaway right in Karl Anthony Towns' eye. They're down 1, 7 seconds on the shot clock, 16 on the game clock. Jokic gets fouled and goes to the line. Misses 1, makes 1.
Oh, God.
Ties the game. And then KCP has an incredible strip on Anthony Edwards to end regulation. It's 96-96. Let's go to overtime.
So
Denver closed that in 2 minutes? They down 12, closed the gap on a 12-0 run.
Yeah, it was something like in a minute 28 they closed.
It felt like I would have bet my life on the Nuggets winning that game after that comeback. And then they get up early. Jokic charged a call, challenged. It gets overturned. And then here's where the wheels really came off because Denver had things going in the overtime to start. Then Mike Conley banked in a 3 from the corner. Somehow he pulled a Paul George, but the ball went in. Unbelievable.
He missed that shot in to such a bad degree, it was the only way it could have gone in.
And then Nickeil Alexander-Walker hit a three. Then he hit another three. I think they had made 2 threes in the
Insanity.
third and fourth quarter, and then they get 4 in overtime somehow. 2 of them from Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Aaron Gordon got fouled, challenged, overturned. Then Aaron Gordon got a charging foul, so he actually got 1 non-call overturned and then a charge. Jokic missed 2 bunnies in the clutch. It was so sad. Then they got a 6-0 run. So again, they fall behind by 10. Then they get by 7. They get a 6-0 run in overtime. You think, here they go again. But with the game on the line, down 1, Aaron Gordon switched out onto Anthony Edwards. You're down 1. If they get a 2, you're down 3. You got a timeout. You got a chance. Everything's a chance. Instead, he bites on what I thought was the most. I was saying on the live show, don't bite on the fake. Don't give up the 3. He bites on it so hard that Anthony Edwards gets a tough step back, but a wide open one, and he drains it because he is a hell of a player. And then Jokic misses a 3 at the end. Jokic probably should have gotten called for an offensive foul, but the game was over at that point anyway. That's the details. Let's start with our big takeaway. Dev, I always go to you first.
My biggest takeaway in this one was I understand that Michael Porter Jr. did not have a great game whatsoever. Started off not great at all. But he did get Denver to go into overtime. You would expect for the guy that got him there to be able to take them home. I don't think he touched the ball in overtime.
I think you're right.
After knocking down 2 3-pointers at the clutchest time of the game to get him to that point, he has to have the ball, or at least he has to be a part of the offense. It was robbery not seeing him be able to get a shot in overtime, and it led to their demise.
Yeah, for me, my big takeaway in this is that it's really hard to sweep a team in the NBA. I'm not overly surprised that the Nuggets weren't able to get it done tonight. We really saw a lot of desperation out of the Wolves. I loved what we saw out of the Denver Nuggets, the resolve coming down the stretch. But there just was a lot of taking their foot off the gas in this game. A lot of like what we saw sort of in the games leading up to playoff starting. The Nuggets, again, for whatever reason, need to feel like there's something at stake. Otherwise, they don't intentionally, not bring it, but they have moments where they lapse. So I loved certain things I saw out of the Nuggets, but overall, it's just like, to me, I'm like, okay. Like,
I mean, of course, I think the broad, big picture take of this game is like, how can you be mad?
Yeah.
It happens. But there are little things that just bother. Let me ask you this, D-Line. Do you think the Nuggets in the Jokic era will ever get a sweep?
Yes, I do. I mean, this should have been a sweep. I don't think they're going to be a worse team next year, so. I mean,
I'm just saying what you're saying here is it's hard to match desperation, but can you bring the energy? And I thought Denver's energy in this game was so clearly worse than it was in the first 3.
Yeah.
And again, some of this is understandable, but that's why I say, will the Nuggets ever sweep? I just feel like...
I mean, they were a shot away from sweeping. They were one Jokic free throw away from sweeping. So,
they also had a 12-0 run in a minute 30 or something.
But, I mean, that's what they're capable of.
Right.
That was surprising, but it wasn't that surprising that they were able to do that.
Do you think we'll ever get a sweep?
Yeah, it's possible. Sure.
I mean, of course it's possible.
No, right?
It's definitely possible.
Well, then yes. I don't know,
Okay.
man. Maybe they don't, Adam. But I thought it's a bummer not to get one here. I think there's a line in the sand, and we're very close to the line. Not us, just everyone, where you start overreacting. It's 3-1. That what the Wolves.
To me, there's almost nothing of consequence from this game, long term.
Yeah, no, totally. And some of it, I know we focus on the Nugget stuff as we should, because as the 1 seed, if you take care of business, you should sweep. There's some of it tonight. You can tip your hat. Nickeil Alexander-Walker hit some big shots. It was incredible. I think if you're Denver, you live with those Walker shots. I think you live with the Conley 3.
Yeah.
So you have to tip your hat on some of it.
I refuse to tip my hat to Mike Conley.
Yeah, you actually don't have to do that. But
Nickeil, you do, though. I mean, those are pressure
those were
cooker
big
shots.
and he did not hesitate, man.
That's like Christian Brown hitting 2 clutch overtime threes,
Huge. So, I mean, look, Denver, I'll save it for my big takeaway. Is it my turn?
Yeah, here, go for it.
I obviously agree with Dev. That was going to be my takeaway. Porter
Yeah, I can't believe you took Michael Porter from Vogt. I can't believe you did that.
I love that you led with it because it's the right first takeaway.
Sorry.
So I'll go elsewhere. Obviously, I agree with that. I just didn't think it was Nuggets basketball from the jump tonight. You look at Jokic's big stat line. Well, it's great that Jokic played well, but I actually thought that might have been a symptom more than a feature. And Jokic had to play that way tonight because the offense was clunky. Porter was really bad for 3 quarters. Jamal hit some shots in the beginning. And then I just thought sometimes with Jamal, it's a slog, man. It's like he's playing in sand, And I just thought this was one of those nights. The offense was more of a problem than the defense. And I thought from the jump, they just weren't playing Nuggets basketball. The ball wasn't popping. Even the 12-0 run was a little bit of heroics. So for Game 5, the number one thing I'd like to see is just them play their brand of basketball in quarter 1.
Yeah.
So to your point about the offense, 108 offensive rating tonight, 115.2 defensive rating. And that's all overtime, by the way. They gave up 18 points in overtime.
I know.
They actually had a very good defensive rating until overtime. But 108 on offense is it's rare territory for Denver. They don't get that. 108 offensive rating would be considered shut down for the Nuggets, who average like a 118 offensive rating. So, unfortunately, I think to me, of all of these points, yours the one I think I tend to agree with the most. They're all true, but this is the one to me that's the bigger deal. And my big takeaway kind of connects to that, which is I do think that I don't know if this stuff matters. I really don't. Rhythm. We talked about the Nuggets not playing well for the last month of the season. Does it matter? Is it going to matter? They come out, get up 3-0. Clearly, it didn't. I keep thinking about the Nuggets in all of these games as preparation for what's to come. This is the easy one, but they get harder from here. And I just don't understand why it's so hard for Denver to play their style of basketball, where it looks so effortless sometimes, where they get into the rhythm and Murray and Jokic pick and roll this or that. And then you have games like tonight where you're like, oh, we can't do our thing. We can't get into that. We're not getting the ball popping. We're not getting those pick and rolls. I do tip my hat. I think the guy that Anthony Edwards really impresses me in the series, but Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Murray had that incredible game too, 40-point performance, but Nickeil Alexander-Walker has really bothered him.
Yeah.
He makes him work, and I think some of this fatigue from him is probably just like the shape he's in, and he'll be in better shape every game that goes by. But I think part of it is Nickeil Alexander-Walker makes everything hard on him, and I just thought tonight he had cement blocks on his feet because of it.
Yeah, no, tonight was absolutely a missed opportunity by the Denver Nuggets. Hopefully won't matter in any way, shape, or form. And the thing that I just sort of always go back to, like in looking at an effort like this, is that it's hard to imagine them having another game in the playoffs that had this little consequence attached to it. And it's that for whatever reason, we have to return to this point over and over and over again. It's how these Denver Nuggets are wired.
Yeah.
They rise to the occasion.
No team is perfect. This is definitely one of their Achilles heels.
Yeah, this is, we've seen, just again for perspective purposes, like we've seen the Bucks lose games, we've seen the Celtics lose games. These are the best teams in the NBA that are left. And we saw this Minnesota Timberwolves really push the Lakers to their absolute limit. They looked really good in the play-in tournament, obviously against much inferior competition, but they're not total slouches. It's not the worst thing in the world to say that they didn't sweep this team.
Right. I think the other takeaway I would have that's kind of big for me is I'm still uneasy. I mean, Denver's defense, I thought in aggregate was not bad tonight, but most of that to me is that second unit. I'm still concerned about Jokic's. He just has to try so hard on defense to be effective. And in the clutch tonight, it wasn't just the shot making, it was also the defense. They got stops. The Wolves didn't score, and that's because all of them turned it up, but Jokic in particular, the guy that's most vulnerable to these pick and rolls, he turned it up. But my worry is one of the reasons Denver probably takes their foot off the gas so often, it's one of their traits, is it's just so hard not to.
Yeah.
They have to be sprinting in order to be able to play effective defense, and that scares me because the next round, should they advance, should the Nuggets advance, which I think they will, the next round, I don't think they win a game unless they play 100% on defense.
Yeah,
Do they have 7 games of that?
I don't think so. And also, that's what I think that's what I hated most about this game is it looked like Minnesota found something in the Jokic pick and roll that they did not, see earlier on. And the next round, they're going to go after that, especially if it's Phoenix. They are going to go after that single, thing. And Denver showed that they're not willing to adjust or make the adjustment that's going to be early. And also, Minnesota has a rinse-repeat type of system that they can just continue to do. And we started seeing that, and they got success, especially with Anthony Edwards. They started to get, Rudy Gobert easy baskets at the rim. So Denver does have to, step it up a notch, but also show that they can adjust to what Minnesota just did.
They do play on Tuesday, as does the Phoenix Suns. So both teams, in fact, this is another, here's the thing. This game doesn't matter in the big stuff, but all the little stuff, there's all these little things like Denver getting their first ever sweep and all of that stuff. And one of those is Denver's next game is on NBA TV. And it just sucks. They've been on the big stage for every game, we get our first NBA TV game coming up as the Suns and
maybe
Clippers
that's what
play.
the Nuggets need to just put
They
it
needed,
away.
they're going to play their best.
Pull the curtain back.
The Nuggets probably game
40
5.
assists.
NBA TV is going to be their best. They're going to look the best, and no one will see it.
Well, listen,
You're not bothered by these little things. Can't we vent?
yes, please.
You're so worried about the don't overreact. No, I don't think there's an overreaction.
No,
But we
I
can vent a little.
Oh,
Let's air
please.
some grievances.
My entire personality is built on venting about sports.
That's true, yeah.
I would never judge any of you for getting it out. I just think that the Nuggets are it's almost good to me that they don't get so much time to rest. I just think about the Rockies when the Rockies swept, and then you get that thing where you're rusty. I mean, they're
That
still
was at
going
the
to have
very end.
They're still going to have a lot of time to
That's
rest.
so true.
The
rest is not going to be a problem.
No, it's not going to be a problem. It's like we just wanted it, and also I think we wanted the rest more than anything.
It's so true. Wanted to see my wife and kids.
Well,
once,
whatever. Tell them to play for the Nuggets then.
Dev, you have any other grievances? You know how it is. First segment of a Loser's Lounge, we got to get all our negative energy out. So do you have any grievances you'd like to air?
Absolutely, but I think we're going to be able to get to it when we go to when we break down specific players. I think that's when it will come.
All right. Do you have any non-player specific grievances you'd like to air out?
Nuggets in 5. Is that a thing? Does that
No,
count?
that's not a grievance. We'll come back to it.
Player related?
No, I'm saying not player related. Just anything you want to get off your chest before we try to move on and be a little more rosy.
No, I'm good, man.
All right. Let's take our first break. I guess we're too unbothered.
I don't have that many grievances. I really don't. I really don't.
I would say I am bothered because I hate to watch the Nuggets lose, but I also I'm built for this, man.
You're built for it?
You know what I mean?
We're built for losing.
Yes. If you're telling me oh no, the Nuggets are down up 3-1. I mean, we've seen the shit, man. We've seen what it looks like to be down 1-3. We know what this is like.
Let's do it in reverse then, rather than a grievance. Little optimism. Another home game. Another playoff home game.
Oh, yeah, dude. Close it out in front of the home crowd. You've been arguably the best team at home all season long. Technically, Memphis passed them, but who are we kidding?
Yeah, and then they lost at home.
So, yeah, it should be in some sense, it's very appropriate for Denver to close it out in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, man.
Get the ball popping in front of the home crowd.
Feel that energy.
Maybe,
I do want to see how Denver comes out in that game. I hope Denver approaches it like a Game 7.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean?
Yeah.
No. Let's not let this go past 5. Whatever you
Totally.
do.
Yes.
All right, there you go. All right. On the other side, let's break down some of these players, including Nikola Jokic, whose game I think is very hard to grade.
Can you guys help me? Can we talk it out on the show?
Dude, this is the wildest thing. Jokic has some of his best scoring performances and losses.
I know. That's usually a reason
I know. It's
for
a
that.
very clear indicator.
I know. I'm so sure I'm going to get that grade wrong tonight. Anyway, here are the reads, which I have ready to go.
Oh,
you know what's
what a
dope about
professional.
Illegal Pete's? So many things. I like queso. That's real good. They got it by the truckload. They can serve you burritos. They can serve you bowls. They can serve you taquitos. And they can serve it all in a really lovely atmosphere that's just a good place to bring your buddies. Because the only thing that goes better with burritos than like a nice alcoholic beverage is buddies.
Yeah.
You can get all 3 at Pete's. You can even have them come cater your graduation party. Throw a party to remember.
Probably not with margaritas.
Yeah,
Probably
just
college
margaritas.
graduation.
Yeah.
Just to be
Then you're
clear,
good.
you probably have to bring your own buddies.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
It's not likely they'll just be there.
Yeah.
They might be.
It's not like the bar. You're not supposed to approach strangers. Bring your own friends or bring Illegal Pete's to your graduation party. Check out catering.illegalpete's.com. That's catering.illegalpete's.com. Throw a party to remember. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
No more of that casserole. Get that Illegal Pizza at your party.
Let's go.
And Game Time is America's hottest new ticketing app. It put a lot of Nuggets fans in the arena, in Ball Arena for games 1 and 2. It can help put you in Ball Arena for game 5 when hopefully the Nuggets close this thing out. Hey, some folks realize they're not going to make it to the game. They want to sell their tickets. They're looking for a last second place to do it. maybe you're one of the folks that realizes at the last second you want to go to the game. Game Time brings those two parties together. You get the best seats at the best prices. I actually have seen some Rockies games for some really cheap prices. But that's a harder sell, I think. You want to see the Nuggets in Game 5. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account, use code DNVR for $20 off Game Time. Join the millions that are getting the best prices to their favorite events. I just made that up. That was pretty good.
That was good, dude.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Awesome.
Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, Nuggets Game 5, obviously. Let's get into the breakdown here, and let's start with Yoke. First note I have here, when we did like genie requests in the pregame show, very fun segment where we had a genie, an actual genie that was just super producer Kale. I was thinking about, I wanted a triple-double, you know, so Yoke would get the average. But I was looking at the points. He's only averaging 20 coming into the game. And I thought if he got 40, he would get up to averaging 25 points per game, and then he would be right at his season average. But I didn't ask for it because I thought it was too absurd. Yoke goes for 43 points tonight. So guess what? He's averaging over 25 points per game. His numbers back up above his season averages, which is hilarious. Dev, what do we do? What do we make of this tonight with Yoke? How do we grade him?
Honestly, I think this is the hardest game of the season to like gauge like if it was a good game or a bad game. Like while he was on the court, which never ever happens, Denver was worse.
Yeah.
That is just that's off, and it's just a lot different. And I think it was the fact that he did have to be aggressive. I did like the fact that he was aggressive and scoring at will and doing what he had to, but I feel like this was not like a Yoke game, like a true Yoke game. He's missing the floaters. He's missing those, you know, signature shots that just put the team away. And also, the big thing was the missed free throw. He had an opportunity for him to make like the national news of like, hey, he had a 40-point game in a win on a sweep. That's what it would have been if he knocks down that free throw, and that's the one spot that he lacks at. Just the clutch factor of just finishing them off. You know, before that, you actually said it, Adam, on the watch along of this is the one spot that he struggles at, then he went missed the free throw. That's where it could have been. So I do think that this was a great game for him as far as he scored. He showed that like I am dominant. I can score when I want with will. But also, it was very awkward to see him miss so many chip shots.
Yeah. Here's the thing about it, because to put even more of a point on it, last 5 possessions of regulation, Nuggets down 12. Jokic 3, Jokic assist, Jokic mid-range, Jokic free throw, 1 of 2. Almost a perfect close to the game, a perfect ending where you could be like, wow, 40 points and clutch. One play wasn't clutch, and it was enough to doom him. How do you grade Jokic?
I mean, I thought he was incredible in so many ways. He hit 5 3-pointers. He single-handedly resurrected the Nuggets. He was rebounding like an absolute monster. His defense wasn't great. He wasn't as consistent as maybe we'd like to see and we've come to expect. But again, yes, the most shocking thing of the night was the missed floaters in overtime, 2 in a row. And then a missed 3-pointer. Oddly not clutch for Nikola Jokic. Like just very, very clutch and then oddly not clutch, all wrapped up in the same like 10-minute span. But
it's the only thing I'm not confident in Jokic offensively is free throws.
In the
clutch.
The clutch free throws. We watched him miss clutch free throws against Greece. We've seen him miss a lot of clutch free throws for whatever reason. It's the
He actually had one in that Portland game, that overtime Portland game back in the day.
It's bizarre, but you know, overall, I mean, this was an A performance from Jokic. It's just because the highs were so high that even it being brought down by some of the negativity that happened, it's just like brings him up to like an A and A- for me.
Yeah,
I thought it was an A-. I mean, I'm not gonna blame him. Like it's literally last on the list of people you blame. So we're talking about every player. Just looking at Jokic, I actually thought it's just crazy that he's minus 14 in this game. And I'm not going to put all of that on his shoulders, of course, especially when he was doing almost all of it offensively. I just think they struggled defensively, you know, at times with him on the floor. I'm just going to say A-. I just think there have been more games where I felt like he's dictated and controlled the whole game for 4 quarters. Tonight, I felt like I said at the beginning of the show, he dropped 40 because he had to, because the teammates weren't doing what they needed to. But like the best version of Jokic, I think, just looks different. And it has a lot to do with the pieces around him, not just him. But to me, I would say maybe A minus or A, but definitely not an A plus. I mean, they just had too hard of a time with him on the floor, I think, wrestling control until the end.
One thing I wonder about Jokic, in the regular season, he just does not play that hard of defense until the fourth quarter where he turns it up usually.
Yep.
But he doesn't play that hard. And, of course, no surprise, offense comes very easy to him. I think in today's NBA, it's so hard to be great at both. And tonight, his offense was clearly dominant, 43 points. But his defense was also the worst. And I just, maybe that was motivation, maybe it was this or that. But I do think there's something, too. It takes a lot out of you to be a two-way player for that much. And this is part of why you're so excited about Murray coming back is, he gets to carry so much of the burden offensively so that Jokic doesn't have to. Tonight, the offense just didn't have that rhythm. Jokic was aggressive offensively. He was doing a lot, and maybe it cost the defense.
So my feeling on this is that because he picked up those fouls so early,
it could be that.
He went into prevention mode, like make sure he doesn't get another foul. That would have been devastating if he was playing, tough defense and picked up a third foul, then a fourth foul. So I think that is what that trickled down from.
Yeah. Let's go over to Jamal Murray now. He goes tonight 19. Actually, first of all, Nikola Jokic. I guess we heard Nikola Jokic, DraftKings Sportsbook's king of the game. We debated about it, but I think it's a no-brainer. Look at that stat line: 43, 11, and 6. Even though he was a game worse, minus 14 by kind of a decent margin. Only next closest was Porter at minus 8. But it is what it is. He was still dominant.
Yeah, I mean, it's like at worst an A minus, probably an A. Yeah.
Jamal Murray tonight, though, goes for 19 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, just 3 turnovers, 8 of 21. Didn't necessarily have his shot going tonight. 2 of 7 from 3. I'll let you start on this one.
I think it was like a C minus.
Yeah.
It was his. The rhythm. There was never much of a rhythm to this game early, but Murray, I just thought was all out of sorts. Thought he dribbled too much. Thought he moved a little too slowly. I just thought the ball stuck with him a little too much. And I think it cost them some Denver possessions in the half court. There was some early shot making, which was nice. I don't think it's a complete and total F, but as the point guard, I know Jokic is this electric and all-time playmaker, but as the point guard, a lot of that, the rhythm of your half-court offense is up to you, and the ball is in Murray's hands a lot, and I just thought he was too slow with it. The ball stuck, and I just didn't think he was very decisive in his decision-making. C minus probably for me.
Dude, it's tough out here. Ass Lover in the chat gave him a D+.
Well, he said C minus, so it's
Yeah, I
actually
mean, it's not that
far.
different. Yeah, I don't.
No, I just want to
Ass
point out.
lover, yeah. Well,
I mean, D plus might be right. Yeah.
I just wanted to say ass lover.
yeah, he just really did.
Yeah, Murray was tired again. Legs, the old bugaboo with Jamal Murray. It's frustrating. Jamal Murray, supremely talented, dribbled the air out of the basketball, had a hard
really
time
did.
getting around his defender, had a hard time getting the offense set up. There were a lot of possessions that end up just being like sort of scramble, weird shots because either he would have to throw a grenade to somebody or just take some weird deep three, which he hit a couple of them. He's talented enough, but it really did, like you mentioned, Nickeil Alexander-Walker was bothering him a lot.
He's a good defender, man.
He is a good defender, but Jamal is just like, seems insane to criticize somebody that just is literally running up and down the court for 40 minutes for being tired. But, you don't necessarily see that out of everybody on the court. Like, and he mentioned it himself, like his fitness maybe is not where he necessarily wants it to be. He promised us a new body, which I'm looking forward to. But so not a great night for Jamal Murray, not a horrific night, but I would probably, I'd probably be in the B minus C range, C plus.
Yeah, Vogt's his takeaway for the game was the fact that the Nuggets offense did not look like Nuggets offense. It was Jamal Murray. He's the reason that it did not look like Nuggets offense. Not only was he spent, but the rhythm wasn't there. The rotating the ball and making sure everything got involved, and then also a lot of just like hero ball type of shots from him. He missed a lot of turnarounds and forced shots where there could have been shots for other guys. Like especially when you saw Michael Porter Jr. start to get it going. That's a time that Jamal could have gave up the ball, or when the offense seemed to like just get stuck with, you know, Jokic trying to find guys. I mean, it felt like he wanted Jamal to get going, and he didn't. But yeah, that was the big reason. That's a huge reason of why the Nuggets lost in this game, was the play of Jamal. You don't go 8 of 21 in a game and just continue to shoot, not getting anyone else going at all. And then also the defense was not there as well. So he was just extremely tired and fatigued, and it goes to like not taking care of your body right now, or not being, you know, in the groove that you should be. So I feel like it was a bad game from him.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a really. I'm with Ass Lover. I thought this was a really bad game.
I know,
Me and
dude.
Ass Lover, so much in common.
I would say
At least two
one and the
things.
same.
At least two things.
We both love the Nuggets. And
I thought Murray was bad tonight, and you know,
wait, and Ass Lover, presumably a bird person?
yeah, you know, and I think he's a birder out there. So who knows? No, I thought this was a really bad game for Murray, and I think again, when you're the point guard and a scorer, it's tough. It's like Jokic. He's the facilitator and the scorer. Murray's the facilitator and the scorer. And Murray wasn't necessarily the scorer tonight, which is okay. You got Nickeil Alexander-Walker on you. They're doing so much. The facilitator part to me, in my opinion, for him, was getting the ball out of his hands. Like, that was it, is just get the ball moving, get it moving. And we were doing the watch along, and there were so many times in this game where you're watching it and you're like, there's 8 seconds on the shot clock and the Nuggets haven't even started anything yet. You
or
like
like
something in the
just
chat?
got it across the line.
Chat's killing me. Ass Lover spitting.
I think we're all
with
I
Ass
think we're all
Lover.
with Ass Lover. That's the one. That's the one.
But no, I mean, this is the thing is for Murray, like Jokic has to create. He either has to be a scorer or a creator, and at his best, he's both of those things in every game. Nobody bothers Jokic the way good defenders, some good defenders can bother Murray, at least in times. Murray overcomes it a lot as well. But with Murray, if he's not a scorer and he's not a facilitator, he can still just get the ball out of your hands. Make the ball move. Jokic can get 2-man game going with Michael Porter. He can get it going with other guys. And I just thought so much tonight, we're watching the watch along, I'm screaming at Murray like, there's 8 seconds on the clock and nobody's touched the ball. You're at the logo. You haven't even barely crossed half court. Then you dribble 8 more times.
So
Nothing's
much
happened,
dribbling,
and
man.
it's just so much. It was too much of that tonight. Just a little bit too much of it. So, and the thing I'll say is Murray does that even when he looks spry. But my fear with him is just how tired he looks, and I do think that you can play yourself. Maybe when you said I think it's good for the Nuggets, maybe so they don't get so much time off. I actually think it might be good just because their conditioning needs a little boost, and another game is going to help that more than all these days off. If they do win on Tuesday, they'll probably get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday off and play Sunday, most likely.
Yeah.
That's a perfect amount of
a
rest.
lot of time still.
But it's 4 days, which is perfect. That's not like so much that you're going to get rust, but it's also not so much that you might lose your conditioning or what have you. So anyway, a little disappointed in Murray. Michael Porter had a weird game tonight.
Weird one.
Didn't make any threes
Dude, everyone
until
had
the very end.
Everyone had such a weird game tonight.
I mean, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and I think in 2 blocks. I think Michael Porter is he's often like a barometer for how well. If the Nuggets offense isn't, the ball isn't moving, he's not a huge factor. And I feel like he was a casualty a lot of tonight's game, Dev.
I mean, the worst part about that is those 2 threes came at the very, very, very end of the game.
Biggest moment.
Yeah, like, because if then it would have been really an atrocious game from him, like really
true.
bad. Like, he's not. That was a game that I feel like he was not moving or like part of the offense at all. And then it was actually shocking when he finally did make the shots that they didn't find him more. Like, your guy finally is on, feed him. You know, run the offense through him. Make sure that he gets a few touches, because he's a guy that you could give him the ball and just move out the way, he's going to get a shot up. And he's like proven that he could be that guy. So for him not to get those shots, that was a bit shocking. I do think that he took a step back on the defensive end than he was before. You know, like, but I think everyone did in this game. I do think that this was like a tired game from the Nuggets, and we got to see that. But like, I feel like this was like a lower game from MPJ, but you can't be upset about the effort that he had tonight. I feel like he should have got more touches.
Yeah, he was weird game from him. Like, very weird energy from MPJ tonight. Like, missed, you know, he wasn't finishing. He was largely invisible for most of the game. But like you said, then to step up, and there's something so comforting about having a Michael Porter Jr. in your lineup where he has been completely invisible, completely ineffective. And then you're like, hey man, can you just hit 2 of the biggest shots of the night? He's like, okay. Fine.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Fine. No problem.
But also at the same time, I just trust. Well, first of all, he is clutch. Another night where he comes in clutch. By the way,
Yeah, Mike.
The evidence of Mike MPJ as a clutch player just keeps.
It's true.
Adding
I think he
up.
might just be clutch.
I think he might just be clutch, man. The
possible.
evidence really points to it. But
Future Jerry West.
at the same time, man, like this is the difference from MPJ where he is now and where I want him to be is. And some of this is on Murray, some of this is on Malone, the team or whatever, but you would love to have a second option. It's like, oh, they're going to overload on Murray. Nikhil's
Totally.
going to do this. Now play the two-man game with Michael Porter. And they're just not quite. Tonight's an example of how they're not quite there yet.
And I felt like in the last game they had it though, so it's just kind of weird. I mean, some of it is on Porter. I thought Eric's kind of right that he looked a little like his head wasn't in it from the jump. He took that really bad shot to start that he missed. But to me, a lot of it was that I thought he got kind of stagnant off ball. There were times where Jokic looked at him where you're like, cut for the DHO, do something. You know, he picked up his dribble. He needs a little help. And I thought Mike was just waiting. There was a lot of standing and waiting for Mike. Having said that, maybe some of it was because of the distinct lack of effort to get him involved for much of the game, particularly OT. I thought he should have touched the ball more in OT. But I thought there was a lot more standing and watching than in his best game so far. Defense, I'd say, is like a C. I'd probably give Mike a C in this game, maybe C+, because the shots were clutch, you know?
Yeah.
They did matter. They did send it
Yeah.
to OT.
I know, dude. That's the
Some
crazy
clutch
thing.
defense, too. Some big-
They really very legitimately played good enough to win this game. They were one free throw away from this all being over.
But I will say in the last couple of games, there was like a 10-20% thing to Mike where, okay, this isn't my best game. I'm going to go rip this rebound away from you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to go
Yeah,
to the rim here.
exactly.
I just thought there was 5 to 10% less of that in this game.
Yeah, he
and it
was.
cost him a little bit.
What do we think of the foul trouble in this series? Every single game, I mean, there's only been 4, but in all 4 games, and it's not just the Nuggets, like the other side is in foul trouble too. And this game, and when you talk about the clunkiness of it, that first half, there was no
Awful.
rhythm. It was stop,
Awful.
stop, timeout, all these stops, fouls, free throws. But it's been this way every game. What do you make of that, D-Line?
I don't know if there's been an emphasis that's been put on screen fouls by the NBA Referees Association. It is so strange to me. Like we were talking about it on the watch along. Like I don't know how to explain to somebody what a foul in the NBA is. Like I really don't, because at certain points you watch Jokic it's somehow like the closer you are to the basket, the more you're allowed to just get punched. But if you're out past the 3-point line and somebody touches you in any way, it's a foul every time. And you're like, what are we doing? Like, what is this? I am disappointed by how ticky-tacky it has been. They clearly are like not interested in, you know, that like let the boys play. Let's get a good game out of this. I can't really understand it. Yeah, Cat fouls out. I mean, truly, like everyone has been in foul trouble in every one of these games. It is super bizarre. I don't know what to make.
My
of it.
theory on this is that the bigs get called differently than guards, and there's a lot of bigs in this
Yeah,
series.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but also, like, there's like signs to show how bad the reffing really is in this, and you can see how frustrated Jokic really is every single time. And it's kind of shocking that he's not going to the free throw line a lot more. This was a better game for him, but getting there. But he's spent a lot of times where he's, you know, actually screaming at the refs. Also, it's not that they have the twin, tower lineup, because they took the same amount of shots at the rim. They took the same amount of threes. And also another thing that shows how bad the reffing really is, there's been a lot of overturn calls.
That's actually
There's
right.
a lot of that.
When they have
You're right.
when they have a moment of reflection, they're like,
Oh, man, what are
This
we
has
doing?
to be like the record amount, like in any series, that they're just like, yeah, we messed that one up. We messed up. I haven't seen this many overturn calls.
You guys want to hear?
They're doing it wrong.
Here's a crazy stat in the playoffs so far. Number 1 most fouls tied: Aaron Gordon, Rudy Gobert. 3rd, Jokic. 4th, Bobby Portis. 5th, Karl Anthony Towns. 4 of the top 5 are in this series.
I think the refs have done a horrendous job with this series.
Horrendous.
And I'm really not talking fairness. You know, I don't.
no, it's
Like,
it's not.
Nuggets are up 3-1. I don't care. It's the rhythm of it, or the lack of this game was horrible. It's a playoff game. I just thought everything was so inconsistent.
So inconsistent.
Things that they let guys do in games XYZ, they couldn't do at certain stretches of this game. They would go stretches where they couldn't stop blowing the whistle, then they swallowed it for weird stretches. The latter I prefer, but the utter inconsistency, and they just destroyed the rhythm of this game.
I know.
the fairness aside, I just want to enjoy the playoff basketball game, and I thought they made it really hard.
And
to
like
do.
we on this podcast are, if nothing else, are just full of integrity and ethics, wouldn't you say?
Dude, we are so ethical. Let's take a break on the other
But
side.
just quickly, like we never complain about the refs. Like we making sure that we never.
it's just a thing.
But I'm just
we
saying.
do
like,
try not to. Yeah.
we don't
lame.
like when people whine about the refs, but man, it has been so bad. Anyway, go ahead.
All right.
Again, I don't think it's unfair to the Nuggets either.
No.
Because it's both sides.
Both
I
sides,
just read it off. It's all of it. And guess what it is? The bigs. This is my theory about it. It's the way bigs are officiated versus how guards are. Aaron Gordon, Rudy Gobert, Nikola Jokic, Karl Anthony Towns. That's 4 of the top 5. It's wild.
When you get hurt, Backus and Schenker are here to help. The Colorado's elite 2-man game did not come through in Minnesota tonight. These guys, though, they always come through for you. They win for Colorado families. They've been winning for Colorado families who are seriously injured for more than 25 years. And the best part is they haven't been charging those Colorado families until they make sure they win them money. No fee until they win your case. And they do win cases. They've won over $1 billion for their clients over the years. They've got locations all over Colorado, including neighborhood offices in Denver, Aurora, Englewood, and Fort Collins. If the actual Backus and the actual Schenker are hard at work on another case, they still have the strength and power to win yours. There's more than 30 lawyers and 100 on staff. They help with all kinds of injury cases when you weren't at fault: car accidents, motorcycle, rideshare, pedestrians, trucks. They can even help if you're injured at work. Call them at 222-2222.
Okay.
One more time, that's the number 2. Call them, get a case, and it's free until they win you money. Backus and Schenker, they win, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go. And we got to talk about Fubo TV, working hard to get the Nuggets and the Avs back on your TV, which is, it's crazy how many minds and arms and how much effort that's taken just to get your favorite sports teams on your TV. But you got options now, like Fubo, 140 plus live channels of sports shows, movies, and news. Stream live from any device. Watch the most Colorado sports for the lowest price and start watching now immediately with a 7-day free trial. If you're thinking, wow, this trial is pretty dope, I want the whole thing, go to www.fubotv.com/DNVR. That's www.fubotv.com/DNVR. Sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro using that link. What a treat.
What a treat indeed. And even more of a treat, the man with the wind in his hair, ready to come back to Minnesota or to Colorado. Spent too much time in Minnesota. Let's bring him in. There he is. Harrison.
Looks like he had a lot of cheese curds.
Harrison, can I ask you something? Is the mic
What's
plugged
up?
in? Is the mic plugged in? Because if it's not,
The
we don't wanna
mic is
take flack for
plugged
this.
in.
All right.
The mic is absolutely plugged in.
Okay.
All righty. How was it out there today?
Oh, it sucked. It really sucked. I just don't really want to talk about the Timberwolves anymore.
Yeah.
I don't really want to talk about this series anymore. I was so ready to move on to Phoenix, but I'm not going to be back in time for the show tomorrow. Just FYI.
Oh my goodness. We can move the show
Yeah,
back.
let's not even do it.
Yeah, we'll
Cancel
wait
the
for
show.
you, Harrison. Just
Cancel
let us know.
cancel the company.
Yeah.
DNVR is over.
Any notes before you get to the locker room? Just any notes from the arena or from the game that you think stood out?
I mean, I was kind of like tweeting about it, but it seemed like everybody was ready for this series to end tonight, including like the Timberwolves players and parts of the first half and the fans. I don't think this was a sellout tonight. Like, you could buy tickets to this game for $10, $15. There was a lot of empty seats in the upper level. It just seemed like everybody was ready for this series to end tonight, and it didn't.
Shameful.
And it was just a huge letdown. Huge letdown.
All right, well, take us to the locker room.
Yeah, I'll get to what like Michael Malone said in a second, but I did go in the locker room for a little after this one, and it was a very quiet locker room, I thought. Like, guys weren't really talking. Guys were just kind of silently getting dressed and getting on the bus. I just got the sense that they were pissed off that they let this one get away. And that's kind of what Nikola Jokic said and what Jamal Murray said. And I didn't feel like Michael Malone was like furious, at least publicly, after this one. He was pretty calm, compared to how he is after some losses. But he said, in overtime, it just came down to the fact that we didn't play any defense. And that was kind of what he was harping on. He didn't think it was the offense. He thought it was the defense in overtime that wasn't up to par.
I mean, at the same time, like if you told me you were going to get Nickeil Alexander-Walker in the corners, I'd be like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah, and not
Me
wide
too.
open either.
One of them was very well contested by
Conley's
Michael
going
Porter.
to bank it in off the corner of the glass.
Bummer. But I mean, I'll have to
Yeah.
go back and watch. I'm sure there's bad defense too.
So yeah, he chalked up the defense, and then he said, like, look, one free throw here, one free throw there. The outcome could have been different. He kind of hinted that there aren't major adjustments that they need to make. It just comes down to playing a little harder, executing a little better, focusing a little bit more. And I'd probably agree with that. So I don't think like any big changes are coming for the Nuggets in Game 5. Any like rotation changes or lineup changes or huge tweaks. Like there will be little stuff here and there, but I think the Nuggets will just kind of run it back, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
We talked to Jamal Murray, and there was some talk about how to free Jamal up better after this game. And to go back to Malone for a second, he said, look, maybe to free Jamal up, we've got to look to, set screens in the backcourt earlier, free him up that way, get the ball out of his hands earlier so he doesn't have to feel that pressure while dribbling that Nickeil Alexander-Walker is giving him. And so Jamal kind of agreed with that stuff. He said, look, I've seen that before. I'm going to see it again. Maybe we do have to set some screens earlier in the backcourt to kind of free me up a little more. And then Jamal was just kind of talking about what went wrong in OT. He said they just made more shots than us. And then he also, noted that, look, like Mike Conley banked in a 3. He didn't say this, but he was probably thinking about the Nickeil Alexander-Walker 3s. Like you said, Adam, I don't think the Nuggets are like killing themselves for giving up those shots. But he just said, look, I think they just played better on their home court. We just got to be more disciplined on the defensive end, and we'll bounce back. I saw this on Twitter, a lot of talk about not getting Michael Porter Jr. more involved in overtime. Jamal was asked about that, and he said, look, it's tough to get him the ball when they're face guarding him, and his defenders aren't really looking at the play. Tough to find him in those situations. We got to find him more in transition. I'll have to go back and watch. I don't remember, but Jamal kind of chalked it up to just they were really closely guarding him. And, that kind of encouraged them to stick to the 2-man game, it sounds like.
Well, it's a little, whatever. It's a comment right after a game. I'm not going to get too worked up over it. It's like nobody ever, Klay Thompson never gets face guarded. Like, come on, whatever. Moving on.
Yeah. And then, Jamal was just talking about dropping this game with the potential to sweep. And he said, look, we were disappointed because we had an opportunity to do something that we've never done with this group. He said since Game 2, they've wanted the sweep. They've wanted to close them out ever since they won Game 2 and not have to go back to Denver. And he just called it a missed opportunity.
Either way. But yes, he is right.
Yeah.
They do live here.
We'll never go back. Damn it.
And then we talked to Joker. He was really down after this one, I thought. He said, look, we had an opportunity. I missed a free throw in OT. I missed some easy ones as well, easy floaters. So he put a lot of the blame on himself, but then he also said, look, we just need to do a better job collectively and individually. On Anthony Edwards, he said, we have to do a better job of making someone else beat us. And then on his 3-pointers, Joker was firing from 3 tonight. He said, look, my shot was going in, so why not shoot it? I've stayed confident in my 3. Sometimes I make it, sometimes I miss. And then, the last thing he said was, look, we got to rebound better. They had 14 offensive rebounds, and it sucks because we had a chance to close out the series and didn't.
Oh, there you go. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you grade your 3 days in Minneapolis?
I would give myself a 6+.
Oh,
6+.
good job.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you personally. I'm just saying how was the trip? Not like what kind of job did you do? You always do a great job. Was it a good trip to Minnesota?
My job? I'd give myself a 10. We're talking about my job. No, I like Minneapolis, man, other than the fact that it's cold. But, I mean, I know it snowed in Denver, so I can't really complain that much. It's just like a harsh cold here. It's windy.
Yeah.
You feel it in your bones a little bit more. It's a different kind of cold. But
It's the water.
I love watching games in this arena. I told you guys about that on the last post game show. It's just like a different kind of loud in here. I like the arena. Great seats for the media. Had some good food while I was here.
Oh,
had a nice French dip today. Restaurant right around the corner.
Recommended by Rudy?
No, I actually think it was a Jewish place, actually.
A Jewish place. Well, there you go.
What were you doing there?
My man? L'chaim.
All righty. Well, you have any final thoughts before we let you out of here?
I know the Nuggets didn't want to go back to Denver. I can't wait to get back to Denver.
We can't wait to have you, man, even if you are going to miss tomorrow's show.
We won't start the show without you, man.
Bring us some cheese.
Dude, I don't land until like 3:30. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, we'll do a late
Go
show,
ahead
bro.
and do the
Yeah.
show. Don't even worry about it.
5 o'clock show. See you tomorrow, man.
We'll see you, buddy. He does raise an interesting point, though, which is Jokic now has 2 40-point games in the playoffs. Remember, Murray has the record, Nuggets franchise record with 5. Somebody had the bold take. Who was it that had the bold prediction that Jokic will pass him? Did you guys see that? Who was it? Somebody had the prediction that Jokic will pass Murray this playoffs as the player with the most 40-point games. He had that last game.
Oh,
now
that's
Jokic
right.
Has it.
I think that was S3.
I think it might have been S3. It might have been. You're right. I don't remember who it was. But nonetheless, immediately he gets a 40-point game. But here's the bad news. Nuggets now 0-2 in 40-point playoff games from
This
Jokic.
was what I said at the start of the show, man. I don't know if that's a coincidence. And not that Jokic scoring 40 is Jokic playing poorly. It's that it's a symptom of the Nuggets playing, I would call, suboptimal offense. Their best offense does not look like that. That's how he won 2 MVPs, and we spent the 2 years going, I can't wait for this shit to be over. Yeah. This offense at its best is in egalitarian utopia. And tonight it was a lot of Jokic and then a lot of your turn, my turn. And the other guys were not up for their turns. So I don't know if that's a coincidence. Not that you can't win if he scores 40, but I think it's a sign that the offense isn't doing what you want it to do.
Right. Yeah, it certainly doesn't seem like it's a coincidence at all. Everybody knows that Denver's offense is most dangerous when Jokic is setting the table, when he has the ball in his hands and he's making sure that everyone can be involved. This was a game that he did find guys. Guys are not hitting shots. So then he has to try to will them to victory in different ways. But also I think that that's what Minnesota wants, for him to be the guy. I think that's what you want one guy to be the one. You don't want him to punish you in different ways. And Denver's best offense is, when it's humming, is when he's passing and scoring and everybody's knocking down shots.
Right.
So yeah, hopefully they get back to like the triple-double, the 12 assists, everyone hitting three-pointers.
Yo, Ball Arena is going to be dope on Tuesday. Yeah. Ball Arena is going to be, this sucks right now, but honestly on Tuesday, I think we'll be like happy for.
If they close it out in 5, it's almost worth it,
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But everyone wanted to see the same thing tonight, and we know why, and don't have to back off.
I just looked this up. First, don't ask me why. Gobert has the same number of blocks in the playoffs as Chris Paul. Isn't that wild? Like, Jokic, I can remember the 2 times he's been blocked by him because they stick out like a sore thumb. But you think this guy blocks everything, and he has 5 blocks in 4 games. Wild, man.
That's like really came crazy. In this one.
Yok's so slippery. So slippery. All right, let's take a quick little mini break, and then on the other side, we'll put a bow on this one. We'll flush it down the toilet.
Yeah.
It's fun to play golf with your boys. It's more fun to look dope and drink beer when you do it. You can do both with Pins and Aces. They're the official golf apparel partner of ALLCITY and DNVR. That's us. We love our Pins and Aces gear. We get tons of compliments, of course. I got my 420 Pins and Aces polo, which Michelle told me I can't wear in public. Probably going to wear it on this show at some point.
Just wear it to church.
Feels great. Looks great. I feel like I could wear it golfing. I could wear it working out. I could wear it on this show.
You don't work out, do you?
I went for a run today.
Did you really?
It did not go well.
Were you wearing a polo when you were running?
I was, yeah. Covered in weed leaves. Everyone loves me in my neighborhood. And the run went terribly, but I looked dope. And when I was done with the run, I immediately busted out their innovative product, the beer sleeve.
Let's go!
Which stores 7 beers right inside my golf bag. Keeps drinks cold the entire
I got the
round.
liquor stick.
Yo.
I got the liquor stick.
Listen, there is officially a DNVR Pins and Aces collaboration.
Oh, no. Oh, wow.
That will be debuting at our very first golf scramble of the year, which will be also put on by Pins and Aces. Pins and Aces is becoming the official golf partner of ALLCITY. They're going to be more and more integrated into things that we do. So
You can
pay attention.
And you can check out pinsandaces.com, Eric, and use code DNVR to receive 15% off your
Hell
first
yeah.
order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com.
All right, Kel. Anybody super chat us today?
One of them I'm not reading.
Ultimate homie checklist right now. Ultimate homie roster.
Hook 'em 15. If that last 3 minutes in OT didn't happen, I was going to go to sleep disappointed. But that was so fun to watch.
It
Jokic
was.
is going to take that game personal. We may see a 60-burger Tuesday. They made tough shots. They
I
did
like
make
this.
tough shots.
I like. You want to know something? He's right. I would have been so much just like less happy if it weren't for that end. That end really did save the vibes a
totally,
lot.
man.
I'm only
Totally.
mildly sad now.
Yeah, dude. I'm
Rainy day.
deeply depressed within reason.
Yeah, within reason.
Remember Polymore 505. Remember early this season when you reported Jokic adding 3 to the warm-ups? He's been crushing it ever since. Neither Embiid or Giannis can shoot threes.
Embiid can shoot a 3.
I think Jokic has been warming up with a 3 though.
I'm telling you, it's a thing where he at the end of the year, he knows he's going to have to go to the 3 in the playoffs, and he starts getting it ready. He starts warming it up. I really do think it.
William Mitchell, resident Warriors fan. I said it before. I'll say it again. Jokic is the true heir to Arvydas Sabonis. DeMontis is a fraud and needs to have some shame.
It would be really wild if Jokic was literally his heir.
Yeah.
It's possible. Well, I mean, I would say that Anthony Edwards is literally the heir to Michael Jordan.
Arvydas just gives his house to Jokic.
Yeah, he's like,
DeMontis
I'm
is
sorry,
"Wait, what?"
you're my true son.
I'm sorry, man. You don't have a bag. I'm just kidding. We love the Kings. Nico Perez. As painful as the end of the season was, it was the best thing to happen to our bench. I think we finally have a bench with an identity, boys.
Yeah,
Great
Bing, bing,
super
bing, bing,
chat.
And the identity is mostly starters.
Two starters.
No, but he is right though. It's defense, then get out and get into transition.
Playing Aaron Gordon.
That was actually the moments where I was most frustrated by Murray. I just thought he was so passive in those ones off. There was a couple possessions. I was just like, dude, what are you standing there for? Go get the ball.
Joe Clem 15, valuable loss. Murray gets more prep for Drew Holiday. Do you mean because of Walker? I'm not sure.
Drew Holiday in the finals?
I guess he just means because Walker's a guy who's handing him tough matchup.
Technically, he said Jay Holiday, which could mean anything.
Maybe is there
Jewish holiday
Yeah,
coming up?
is there a Jewish holiday coming?
Well, we'll have to ask.
We'll have
Is
to ask
Rosh
Glenn.
Hashanah? All right.
Is it Purim?
Big
Purim.
name K,
Yeah,
grievance.
Purim.
Our guys must move off the ball more. I agree with that tonight. I thought that was a big problem today. Too much ball watching during the Jokic Murray 2-man. We'd have more opportunities with movement. I agree with that today.
Also, I will have to say, like, the 2-man game, not nearly as potent as it has been in the past.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I mean, in the past, everyone would just stand and watch, and including the defense, and no one had anything that they could do.
I'm telling you, Nikhil Alexander Walker. The thing is he should be terrible on offense, but he's making some shots.
He had a great
and
game
He's
today,
a hell of a
man. He had a
defender,
great
man.
game today.
I'm very
That
impressed.
was a good game
His
for him.
He's honestly almost like a giant KCP. He just moves so well. He gets skinny on the screen. He's tough, man.
And listening to him talk at shoot around, I was kind of thinking of guys like Christian, those young guys who enter the league just so detail oriented. He's just an interesting guy. I think he's really about being a pro.
And I'll say I'm very impressed with Anthony Edwards, obviously. I mean, that guy is like both really good, but also good in a way that's dope. Like, he's kind of dope.
Yeah,
I
he's
would say.
awesome.
No, he's super
Anthony
dope.
Edwards is super dope. And I'm very impressed with Nikhil Alexander Walker. I am equally as unimpressed by Karl Anthony Towns so far in this series. This has been a really, really bad series for Karl Anthony Towns.
I already can't wait for the next game, fellas. 5-5-5-5-5-ish. A pile of poop with a face.
Let's go. Super sticker.
Hey,
Yeah.
man. Succinct.
It was a super sticker.
You know, not trying in the playoffs is a waste of my time. Middle finger. Hey, what did we do, man?
We tried.
I tried
We're
hard
trying
today,
so
man.
hard, dude.
I could have tried harder.
Actually, my watch line performance could have been better.
Yeah, you were absent for most of it.
I was. Michael Talley, small play to remember, the 24-second violation on AG's dunk. If that counts, Nuggets probably win. There's a lot of those in this one. Still have confidence for Nuggets in 5. So do I, man.
I mean, it should have-
do I.
I mean, we're talking about literally a 1 point difference between winning and losing.
Man, these shows are always just what I need, you know? Jimmy Delcamp. It is weird that Jokic's free throw percentage has been so bad this playoffs. That's usually not an issue for him.
It's actually true. So when I was doing the Jokic thing earlier, I was like, he could have a 60-40-90 splits, but it was actually 60-40-60 or something because his foul shooting had been so bad. So he could actually, I think he'll probably be at 60-40 for the series. He might be at 60-50
To me,
now for the series.
That's where the
but
wrist
then
is.
He'll be right at 50 again, 60-50-50, which is unfortunate.
The boys' dad. Great vibes in the bar tonight and great fun. Glad I brought the broom through. It made a fine crutch on the way back to the car.
Oh man, that was a great idea though. Bringing the the broom.
I would have thought. I mean, you could have helped sweep up the bar. Everyone brought these brooms. We still had to clean the bar. You could have helped us out.
This was. You go ahead and hit that outro music. This one, I mean. If you can't handle losses like this, you're not built for the playoffs,
out of the kitchen.
man. Get out of the kitchen.
No, if you can't handle the heat, you're not ready for the playoffs.
It's 3-1, fellows.
3-1. I do think that
that's an insurmountable.
I do think there is a world in which this could end up being better for the Nuggets. Like I said, Murray. I think the whole team needs a little bit better conditioning. They might have lost a little piece of that in that last month. Get another game coming in front of your home fans. Give them a little bit more. And then most important of all, Dev, give us another show.
Another show. That's all we need, right?
That's all we need. You're excited for that. I know you are. You're excited for another.
One more
I
super
am
chat.
excited. I am excited that Ball Arena, the home fans will get to experience that.
Yeah,
It's the
totally.
first time finishing a team out at Ball Arena. Like, let's just go through with it.
They are wearing the COVID whites, which is not exactly the best. But
One
what
last
can you
one
do?
from Joe Clem, just clarifying. Yes, he meant Walker is helping Murray prepare for Gary Payton 2, Drew Holiday, etc. in the finals.
Oh, all of the tough defenders,
I mean,
that you can
he's gonna face it.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm pretty impressed with his defense. All right, Nuggets fall. I do expect a monster performance in Game 5. I
too.
really do. I
hope for it.
expect. And
Oh, Laking Ball.
did he just pop in with a super chat? All right, well then there we go. But I do expect like Denver to have a good performance in Game 5, very good performance.
Me too.
Whereas if they would have won this one, there would have been a little bit of a they played like crap in one anyway. Not going to get away with that the next round. They didn't get away with it in this round. Maybe less.
Yeah, you simply can't get away with it.
You just can't get away with it in any round in the playoffs.
Laking Ball, don't worry, my guys. My team couldn't sweep either, but we both can finish off the series at home with our beloved fans.
How'd that feel? How did that feel? That feel good? Was that comforting to know?
And Vogt, how my Celtics do today, buddy? You have to return the favor. No, I don't.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No, I don't.
But if it makes you feel better, you just made $10.
You know what?
No, you
I really
didn't.
like this relationship we've got going on, Laking. I look forward to the finals. It's going to be fun.
Everybody, thank you for hanging out with us. Pre-game show, watch along, post-game show. Those that rode with us the whole way through.
Have we
enjoyed
been
it.
on air for the entire day?
7 days.
Yeah, I wanna go to
7
bed.
days.
Yeah.
Everybody hit that like button for us. We're going to be back live tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
Oh my
See
God.
you guys then.
Jesus.
No,